In the early 2000s, the housing market is considered extremely stable and profitable. Everyone believes that investing in real estate is a safe bet. Banks are making money by giving out home loans, even to people who cannot afford them.
We all know about bonds. You give them to your snot-nosed kid when he turns 15. Maybe when he's 30, he makes $100. Boring. That is until Louis Ranieri came on the scene at Solomon Brothers.
These mortgage-backed securities are then sold to investors around the world. Because the housing market seems strong, the financial system believes these securities are safe. However, these products are actually full of risky loans that are likely to fail. Only a handful of outsiders saw the potential risks of these loans.
These outsiders saw the giant lie at the heart of the economy, and they saw it by doing something the rest of the suckers never thought to do. They looked.
Dr. Michael Burry, played by Christian Bale, is a quiet, socially awkward hedge fund manager who runs a small investment firm called Scion Capital. He spends hours studying the housing market and individual home loan data. After digging into the numbers, Burry realizes something shocking. A huge percentage of the subprime loans in the US are going to fail by 2007. Burry goes on to tell his boss about this huge discovery, only to be told that he is crazy.
Bond is worthless.
Michael, just take a beat. We'll talk about this later. Okay?
Lawrence, please don't patronize me.
Burry then decides to short the housing market. But to do so, he has to talk to the bank.
So now he's going to short the bonds, which means to bet against. Got it? Okay.
Based on this discovery, Burry comes up with a plan. He goes to big investment banks like Goldman Sachs and asks to buy credit default swaps on these mortgage bonds. A credit default swap is like insurance. If the mortgage bonds fail, Burry gets paid. The banks agree to sell him the swaps because they think he's wrong and that the housing market is perfectly safe.
That's a good one.
This is Wall Street, Dr. Burry. If you offer us free money, we are going to take it.
Burry has now invested over $1.3 billion, nearly all of his firm's liquidity. His boss is pissed, but Burry has run the numbers, and for him this isn't a gamble. This is an absolute certainty. It's only a matter of time. Jared Vennet, played by Ryan Gosling, is a trader at Deutsche Bank. He hears about Burry's unusual bet and does his own research. He quickly realizes that Burry is right. The housing market is in big trouble. Jared decides to meet up with Mark Baum and his team of investors. He tells them all about the upcoming crash. At first, Mark Baum and his team didn't believe him, but eventually, Baum and his team decide to investigate further.
You're completely sure of the math.
Look at him. That's my quant.
Your what?
My quantitative. My math specialist. Look at him. You notice anything different about him? Look at his face.
That's pretty racist.
Look at his eyes. Yeah, I'm sure of the math.
Two young investors, Charlie Geller and Jamie Shipley, run a small investment firm out of a garage. They're smart and ambitious, and getting ready for a meeting with one of the big boys in Wall Street. They brag about how they've earned $30 million in 4 years, but gets humbled when the investment firm shuts them down by saying they need to earn $1.5 billion to get what they want. After the humbling meeting, the two boys feel crushed. By luck, they find a paper written by Jared Vennet and realize that the housing market is about to collapse. They want to start shorting the market too, but they don't have the legal agreement needed to trade with big banks. To solve this, they call Ben Rickard, a retired banker who now lives off the grid and avoids the financial world. Ben agrees to help them make the trades, but he warns them not to celebrate making money from other people's suffering. Mark Baum and his team go to Florida to see what's really happening in the housing market. They meet real estate agents and mortgage brokers who openly admit that they are giving home loans to people with no jobs, no income, and no ability to pay. They see neighborhoods full of empty homes and meet people who have bought multiple houses with almost no money down. After seeing the situation up close, Baum and his team understand the truth. The entire housing market is a giant bubble built on bad loans. They decide to buy credit default swaps as well, joining the bet against the housing market.
Harvey Humpsey. You want my landlord's dog?
Your landlord filled out his mortgage application using his dog's name?
I guess so.
Meanwhile, Burry has to stand up against his boss in Wall Street. Everyone is still calling him crazy, and even his investors are starting to worry. He will be losing $80 to $90 million per year on this trade if the housing market doesn't collapse.
Watch, we'll pay. I may have been early, but I'm not wrong.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing, Mike.
You're managing a fund of, what, 555 million? In 6 years, it'll all be gone.
Burry has to convince his investors to not withdraw the money, because if they do, Burry will not be able to pay for his short position, and therefore lose everything.
No one will pull out. That would be suicide. I mean, I'm down 17% for the year, but if they trust me, and they trust me because
No
I've
one
always performed.
trusts you.
Mark Baum decides to invest $50 million against the housing market after he talked to an exotic dancer who owned 5 different houses and had multiple loans. The bubble was just about to burst.
Hey, there's a bubble.
How do you know?
Trust me, call Venet, buy 50 million in swaps on the MBS. What do we got? Garibaldi 4 triple B.
Mark, you sure?
Yeah, it's time to call bullshit.
Bullshit on what?
Every fucking thing.
As time passes, more and more subprime loans start to fail. People can't pay their mortgages, and home values begin to drop. But even as the situation worsens, the value of the mortgage bond stays high. The banks and rating agencies are pretending everything is fine to avoid panic.
You hear? Mortgage defaults have gone through the roof. Is anybody jumping off the buildings yet?
Why would they? Subprime mortgage bond prices are up.
What the hell is going on?
We don't know.
But Deutsche is on the phone demanding payment.
Call Venet. Call that little shit.
Call Venet. Tell him to get his ass down here.
So subprime loans go bad, but subprime bonds, which are made up of subprime loans, are more valuable?
No. They want another 1.9 million by market close.
The investors who shorted the market, Burry, Baum, Charlie, and Jamie, get frustrated. They know they're right, but the market is not reacting. They start losing money and face pressure from their clients and colleagues.
Gentlemen, I spoke with Mark Baum. He says to fuck off.
They decide, despite already being down several million of dollars, to double down on their initial investment.
What the hell's in Las Vegas?
The American Securitization Forum's there next week. Every bond and CDO salesman, subprime lender, and swap trader is going to be there. I'm telling you, your bet is against dumb money. It's about time you find out just how dumb that money really is.
They decide to travel to Las Vegas to attend a mortgage conference. There, they meet a fund manager who confirms their fears, that the rating agencies and banks are hiding the truth about the bad loans. Jamie and Charlie just made a huge deal shorting the double A's. They celebrate in the casino, but only for a short while. Ben tells them what this is going to mean for the U.S. Hundreds of thousands of people are going to lose their homes and jobs.
People lose jobs. People lose retirement savings. People lose pensions. You know what I hate about fucking banking? It reduces people to numbers. Here's a number. Every 1% unemployment goes up, 40,000 people die. Did you know that?
No.
Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that.
The U.S. is on the brink of a national economic crash, perhaps the greatest ever. Finally, in 2007 and 2008, the system starts to break. Mortgage-backed securities lose value. The housing market crashes. Lehman Brothers goes bankrupt. AIG almost collapses. The U.S. government steps in to bail out the biggest banks with taxpayer money.
I'm gonna call my mom.
Mark Baum and his team also make huge profits. But Baum is devastated by how many people have lost their jobs, savings, and homes. He doesn't feel like a winner. He gives a powerful speech, blaming the system for rewarding dishonesty and punishing the innocent.
Directly to your transportation. Do not talk to the press. After 18 years, I just leave?
Michael Burry is finally proven right. His credit default swaps pay off, and his investors make billions of dollars. He closes his fund shortly afterward. The film ends by showing what happened to the people involved. Michael Burry stopped working with Wall Street. He now only invests in one thing: water. Mark Baum continued working in finance, but remains critical of the system. Charlie and Jamie tried to start a new fund, but were blocked by big banks. No major bankers went to jail for the crisis. The same risky financial products returned under different names.